everyone, and welcome to another review from Class 47 Peter. And today we're here to have a look at a Bachmann model, as you can see. And today we're here to have a look at the Midland Class 4F, otherwise known as the Fowler 4F. Now, I have already got a Bachmann 4F in the LMS black livery with the Johnson Dealey tender, which I have done a review on before, which I did a couple of years ago. However, this model is in BR black livery with the light crest and has the Fowler tender, as you can see, which this particular model I have been after for a while now. And I saw this model up on eBay for about £94, and so I grabbed it. I took the opportunity to do so because it was an opportune moment, and if I hadn't have done it, I think I would have been a fool not to. And this particular model is number 43924, which is preserved at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. I haven't seen this loco in real life, but I'd like to in the future at some point. I have seen a 4F in real life, but it wasn't this one. That was number 44422, which is currently the West Somerset Railway. But anyway, let's get this model open and see what it's like. Let's not hang about too much. So this is the usual style of packaging we get now with Bachmann. This is the box sleeve. And on the back we get some brief history of the locomotive, which you can pause and read that if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. We'll put that to one side, and then we'll remove the plastic casing. And then that's the tray of the box, which we'll remove. Then here we have the leaflet to join the Bachmann Collectors Club, which I've already rejoined since mine expired, so I am already a member of the club. The product warranty and the warranty service request, and product maintenance and care. Don't really need that, to be honest. This, however, I will need. This is the instructions. We've got the diagram there, which is also a spare sheet. So if you lose a part, you can just simply go to their spare parts service and simply order that part you need. So I'll put that in the folder of instructions later on. Also on the back, it tells you about running in, the curves that's suitable for this model, removing the body, fitting a DCC decoder, lubricating the model, talks to you about replacement parts, and it should be handled carefully. There's a couple of drawings there showing you how to remove the screws from both the tender and the body. So I put those to one side. Then we'll remove the plastic sleeve and put that to one side, and we can now look at the details that we get with this model. So in the detail pack we have this little bit of plastic, which is for a speaker, so if you wish to fit sound, you can do. Which you put your speaker in there, and this goes in the tender. We've also got the coal rail for the tender that I shall be putting on, definitely. In fact, I'll probably be doing this before I come to the running performance, actually. We've also got this little bit of detail, which goes in the middle of the tender, where the coal goes. We've also got these little detail parts which look like cab doors. We also get some unpainted fire irons as well. And last but certainly not least, we get these screw link couplings to fit on the tender and the loco. Right, with the detail parts now covered, all we have to do now is to get the model out of the packaging. I should point out that you should lift the loco and the tender out together because they are both connected. top of this box will not stay down. There we go. The model is out. So we can put that to one side, and we can now look at the model in closer detail. First of all, we're going to talk about the weight. There's a lot of weight in this model. It's very heavy, and that's a good sign, because without the weight this model wouldn't be able to pull anything, and you wouldn't get the traction to pull trains, and so that's why the weight is important. Moving on to detail now, which we've got sprung metal buffers. As you can see, I haven't got any care for sprung buffers, but if you like the sprung buffers, then they're there, then they'll keep you happy. We've got some rivet detail on the buffer beam there. You can also see the hole for the screw link coupling to go into, as well as a separately fitted brake pipe. Just under the buffer beam we've got some guide irons there, and also we can't forget the tension lock coupling, which you can remove and fit a KD or any other coupling if you wish. We've got some nice rivet detail on the running board there, as well as some separately fitted lamp irons. There's some very nice detail on the smart box door as well, which includes a separately fitted lamp iron, smart box door hinges, and a separately fitted smart box door handrail. Lots of rivet detail under the smart box door. The locomotive's running number 43924 crisply printed on the smart box door number plate there. We've also got a very nice crisply printed shed code there, which says 82E. Now this is interesting because 82E was actually a shed on the Western region. I didn't think the 4S were based on the Western region because they're not Western region locomotives, but based on the research I did, 82E was originally Yeovil Pen Mill, and then later on it was the shed code for Bristol Barrow Road. So it's interesting that this was actually based on the Western region. There's a lot of rivet detail on the smoke box, as you can see. We've got a very nice chimney. There's a very nice dome as well. And we also have turned brass safety valves and a whistle, and they look very nice. We've also got a separately fitted metal handrail running down on the side of the boiler there. We have got some rivet detail on the running plate. There's some rivet detail on the wheel arch there, and that little bit of detail just there. Not entirely sure what that is, but it's there and it looks nice. We've also got the lubricators as well, and a separately fitted small metal handrail just there. There is also some visible daylight under the boiler, and also there is some detail in there to simulate the inside working valve gear in motion. There's more rivets on this wheel arch as well as a builder's plate, which says 1918 Derby. Or is it 1910? I don't know, it's something like that anyway, but it was built at Derby, because the 4S were built at Derby in real life. Then that wheel arch at the back also has some nice rivet detail on, which looks very, very nice, and again it makes the model more realistic and more detailed. We've got some rivet detail on the footstep there. We've got a cab footstep as well with some rivet detail on. We can't leave out the side rods. I can't wait to see those moving, just like you do on the real thing. We've also got the brake blocks and separately fitted sanding gears as well. Now I have said this before with the sand gears, you've got to be careful with them because they're made of metal and they can bend, which can then derail the model and also briefly shorten the track out as well. Personally honest, I don't really like them being made of metal for those reasons, but you know, it's not too bad. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does on occasion, sometimes, on odd occasions. Not very often though, but it can happen, so do be careful. We've also got some very nice boiler bands as well, and some of them even have rivet detail on them, which is very nice. We've got some more rivet detail on the cab there, on the sides, as well as a separately fitted small metal handrail, and the locomotive's running number 43924 crisply printed on the side. There's some rivet detail on the front of the cab and glazing in the cab windows, as we'd expect. There's some rivet detail on the cab roof and a cab roof vent, which is separately fitted, but I don't think it slides open. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. At least there's a cab roof vent on top, and it doesn't necessarily need to open anyway all the time. Sits nice anyway. There's one there. There's also some separately fitted metal handrails running down on the end of the cab. On the back of the loco there we have got some rivet detail. We've also got a metal footplate, which you can actually move like that to have it how you want it. Just like so. Very nice bit of detail, that. And it looks very nice. We've also got the wooden floorboard detail there, which looks fantastic. And just look at the interior in the cab. That is just superb. The inside of the cab is painted cream. But just look at the gauges and the dials, the regulator, the lever, the pipework. It's all painted. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. The painted interior detail like this really does help to bring these models to life and make them more realistic and detailed. Moving on to the livery application now, which is spot on. There's no errors in the paintwork. Very nice even coat of paint. And the right shade of black as well. And it looks really, really good. It is quite smashing, the BR Black livery. I know some people may not like it, it may not be to everyone's taste, but I quite like this livery. Nothing wrong with it. On the tender buffer beam we have rivets and tender buffers. On the front of the cab we've got some storage cabinets for the crew to store things in, and as well as those handles as well, painted silver that look nice, which transfer the water from the tender to the boiler, as well as coal in the chute there. We've got some separately fitted metal handrails on the tender sides there as well, on the front. We've got a crisply printed BR Lake crest on the tender, which looks stunning. We've got some footsteps, axle boxes and springs on the tender frames, as well as some rivet detail as well, and that looks really nice. And you might just be able to glimpse there's water scoop there under the tender as well. There's also some separately fitted handrails on the sides of the back of the tender as well. We've also got a metal coal load in the tender, which is removable, as I'll demonstrate now. Now normally at this point I would get the tripod to do this, but I can't be bothered to get it out again, so I'm going to have the camera lying down as it is here, but you can still see me remove it. So I've got a needle, and it should remove the coal, he said. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be easy to remove. Yeah, it is removable, but it's just not coming out. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it in there and just scatter some coal on the top. Which you can do, to be fair, so all is not lost. We have some air tanks on the back of the tender and the water fillet cap. With rivets around that. It doesn't open, but it doesn't really need to. This dome here as well has some rivets around it, and so that looks nice. On the back of the tender you've got some separately fitted lamp irons, another separately fitted brake pipe, a plate that says 3,500 gallons, so that's basically the gallon of the tender. There's no rivets on this tender buffer bin, but there is a plastic coupling hook there, and that's interesting because you get two of the screw link couplings to fit on. I said one was to fit on the tender, but I didn't realise that there was a dummy plastic hook on the buffer beam of the tender. So why have they supplied two of those in the detail pack? Is one a spare? I don't know. But it means it can fit one of those onto a model that doesn't actually have one, so that's good. All isn't lost. There's a tension lock coupling on the tender as well. And just like on the loco, we have sprung metal buffers. On the other side of the tender we have the same detail, no differences there at all. On this side of the loco though, there are a couple of detail differences. We have the reverser lever and the lack of lubricators on this side of the loco. Where the separately fitted metal handrail is, we have some pipework there, which is actually fixed on top of the metal handrail. And we've also got some pipework on this side as well, just here, which you don't get on the other side. Apart from that though, every other bit of detail is the same. Okay, so off camera I have fitted some of the details, and I say some of them because I haven't fitted all of them, and I wasn't going to fit all of them. What I have fitted is the coal rail on the tender, as you can see, and that little bit of detail in the middle. I will be scattering some real coal in the tender at a later date. Also, I've glued in the cab doors and the screw link coupling. Now, this is not any of the screw link couplings supplied in the detail pack. This is something I do want to talk about, and it is a problem I do have with Bachmann screw link couplings. It's not always the case, but it is the case with some of them in regards to some models. Well, one of them is, and one of the issues I have with them anyway is. But basically, first for a start, the problem I have with Bachmann's screw link couplings is when you fit it, it's come off now, but as you just saw earlier, I had the chain link coupling looped onto the hook, and basically what happens is when you've looped the chain link coupling over the hook, the coupling can, I've looped it back on now, but basically when you've looped that on the hook, it can catch on the tension lock coupling, and then if that tension lock coupling should move, then the coupling then comes out and you have to glue it back in again. But another problem I have, now what I did do was actually, to prevent that from happening, I actually chopped off the chain link and screw link detail off the one coupling hook, as you can see there. My intention was to just fit that into the little hole on the buffer beam, but that wasn't the case. I just simply couldn't do it. That bit on the back there is quite big. Out of focus there. So yeah, the bit at the back there, excuse the giant finger, but that bit there is meant to fit into the hole on the buffer beam. But the hole was a lot smaller than that bit on the end of the coupling hook, so I just simply couldn't fit it in. It was too small for it to go into. So I had to go through my spares box and find a screw link coupling, and I found this one, which is a dummy plastic one that has the chain moulded on top of the hook, which actually, if I remember rightly, that came from the Oxford Aldine goods in the detail pack. And it does look nice on this model, and it is better because if that coupling should move there, the tension lock, it isn't going to knock that out. In some cases with these Bachmann screw link couplings, that does happen. Probably more often than not, actually. And like I said, in some cases, the holes are too small for them to even fit into. So I'm putting this in the video just to simply be aware of the fact, and just to basically just simply say that, you know, Bachmann aren't always perfect. Because Hornby get a lot of criticism, and it's not always fair, really. Because Bachmann aren't always perfect. And to be honest, I think Hornby's screw link couplings are probably a bit better than Bachmann's, to be honest. But that's just me giving my opinion. So we now come on to the running performance. Straight out of the box, she's a smooth runner. As you can clearly see. There's no grinding noises, motors burning out, stuttering movement, or hiccups as some people call it. It's run how it should do, straight out of the box. And how we expect it to. Moving on to the loaded test run now, which you can see that I have got a goods train behind the 4F, which is appropriate, being they were goods engines. You can see behind you there I've got the LMS plan, and on the end I've also got the LMS brake plan there. And this shows why the weight is important, because without the weight this model wouldn't be able to pull this rake of wagons. And she can probably handle more as well. But you know, I don't want to overdo it for this video. So overall then, what can I say? This is a superb model. In disregard of that screw-in coupling thing, I can't really fault this model. And it now means that now that I have this 4F, I can recreate some classic Somerset and Dorset double headers. So watch this space, because you'll be seeing those in upcoming videos. So overall then, I'm going to rate the Bachmann 4F a 10 out of 10. This has been Class 47 Peter reviewing the stunning Bachmann 4F, and I'll see you again soon for the next review. Until then, subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos, and I'll see you again soon. But until then, over and out.